Hello, everyone. Hello, this is Crypto J, and you're looking at the 36 Chambers of Crypto Tax podcast. I know what you're thinking. You're like, you know what? Is he going to talk about taxes in every episode? No, because I'm a tax accountant and I don't want to hear about taxes all the time. So listen, guys. So some of them is going to be about taxes, and a lot of them is just getting in the community of blockchain and cryptocurrency and just figuring out why should we know about certain things? Because I call myself Crypto J, but I know about crypto taxes. I don't know about all that technical mumbo jumbo stuff, but I'm very much interested in it. And I only have people that I trust that will give us honest, blunt, real information. And they're not going to sell you a dream or anything like that. And we're just gonna make it happen. So listen, guys, if you're looking at YouTube, you're gonna be like, Jamaal, you did not change your clothes. It's the same type of thing that you spoke with them. So as a disclaimer, this is our second interview, and we just knocking them out back to back. And I am too lazy to change my shirt. So I'm wearing the same shirt. Nicole's wearing the same thing. Corey got the same thing. He still doesn't have his video on. And this is part two. And we're going to have an interesting conversation that's going to talk about the mixture of cultural and crypto. All right. So Nicole, Corey, please introduce yourself and your company.
Hey, thank you, Jamaal, for having us on. Really appreciate it. My name is Corey. I am the CEO of Greenfire, um, and I'm glad to be here.
Hi everyone. My name is Nicole. I'm the COO, and I'm really excited to be here. Unfortunately, our CTO Uzma wasn't able to join, but yeah, we represent Greenfire. So thanks for having us, Jamaal, again.
And in that last episode, the first one, and this is basically the thing, because we're gonna do a lot more, guys. And with them, I say, you know what, I just want to have real talk with y'all. So it's basically real talk of the founders of Greenfire Inc. And it's not gonna be no rhyme or reason to it. So don't even try to figure out what's going on. But listen, guys, what you're gonna learn stuff. And I think for this episode, I really want to talk about the culture of crypto. And I'm unapologetically black, you know. And you can't get me mixed up. I'm not like light skin, I'm not high yellow, I'm like dark skin black. So I'm unapologetically black. So I definitely want to see all races, all genders, all ages benefit from blockchain. I got my shirt, blockchain for the people, and I really mean that. However, I could only kind of talk about what's going on in our communities, and I just see certain things that it kind of worries me, especially being a tax accountant, and I never give tips on the latest and greatest crypto. I don't give recommendations, but I just like to keep people safe. I feel like my role in this crypto ecosystem is to make sure that people are safe. Become a Bitcoin billionaire, millionaire, but don't have the IRS take it all from you. All right. Don't make $1 million in crypto, but owe the government $1 billion. Because that could happen. A lot of times people say, oh, the government's not going to see me because I'm anonymous and blah, 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 blah. These exchanges, let's keep it real, people. These exchanges are going to snitch on you. If you think they don't have your information and when the government comes down on them, they're going to be like, ooh, I like Nicole. Let me not snitch on Nicole. They drop Nicole name like, yo, she's making this money, go get her. So that's why I'm very passionate about just introducing you to people that really know what they're talking about, especially when it comes to your safety. And when it comes to crypto on my end, it's all about saving y'all. So with this metaverse, guys, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like fascinated about it. Like, how do you see, do you see our community benefiting from this metaverse type stuff? What do you think about that?
Well, it's funny. I'll just start off because Corey and I were kind of talking about this the other day. They're already grooming our kids for it. I mean, if your children are playing Roblox at all or anything like that, which my daughter is very excited and passionate about playing and giving her Robux to participate in the community. I think it's something that we need to be aware of, whether you have children or not, because it's something that will impact our lives at some point. So I definitely see it being something, while I'm not participating so much per se right now, it's something that I want to be knowledgeable about. And I think it's important for all of us to be knowledgeable about.
So it's going to be like one of those things, like we barely talk to each other as humans in general nowadays. So by time our kids are our age, we're going to go to these metaverse weddings and dating services. That's how it's going down. Oh man, because I'm trying to figure out, say, how can like my company, I got a tax company and I see that people's buying real estate and all that stuff. How can like the small guys, the mom and pop shops, especially in our community, get into this?
Hmm. I mean,
Or is it too expensive right now?
it all depends. I mean, there's three major metaverses in regards to cryptocurrency. There's the Sandbox, there's the Decentraland, and then there's Somnium Space Cubes, I believe. But um, I mean, those are very expensive because of, you know, it's scarce. There's scarce land and all that other stuff. But I mean, going back to Nicole's point, that the idea behind the metaverse is not, it's not new. It's just that with cryptocurrency, it's added this layer of not only scarcity, but then an ability to profit or make money from it. You know, I think something that we have to always remember when it comes to like any of these digital products or any, yeah, or anything like that, whether it's social media or or like video games, is that, you know, we are always the we even though we think we're interacting with a product, ultimately we are a product.
Mm.
So like in social media, you're using Facebook or Twitter, and it's free, but you know, we are the product. We are being sold in some way, shape, or form. In regards to video games, it's always been that you buy the video game and then you play it. But then what ended up happening is as things turned more online, whether it be World of Warcraft or Diablo or The Sims, right? People started people started being sold digital items in these video games for them to have a better experience, not only with the video game, but also with interacting with other players of that video game. And the problem with that is you're paying for a digital item and you can't move it nowhere. You don't have ownership of it. You know, you're using your real money to pay for something that you've already paid for. And, you know, this is where the metaverse kind of equalizes the playing field in a bit, because now users have access to ownership of in-game items
Mm.
that was never possible before, or was it probably was possible, but it was very limited and it was always skewed towards the house. The house always wins, right? And so um, now the metaverses have gained a different layer where users are more in control. Now, in terms of pricing and all that stuff, is like, well, you know, whoever gets there first, you know, and then the stragglers come in and they pick up the pieces. Um, so for us in our community, I think what I think the best way for us to participate is by utilizing the strength that we've always had over the centuries, which is creativity. We have been, you know, the forefront, the harbingers of art. And that's something that really kind of lacks in the metaverse or in the cryptocurrency space in general, is that like that clearly cultural art that we are known for, you know.
But
So
I feel like, and this is why I kind of don't like when it comes to the metaverse and anything crypto.
mhm.
I feel like, especially when it comes to media, I'm like always talking about the media. It'd be like Snoop Dogg or something like. I'm like why are we even following what they doing? And I think that kind of
Yeah,
blinds us because they're not the real people that's gonna really get our community forward in this, like from behind it. I feel like they someone bigger, maybe a little lighter, let me not, whatever. It's just paying them to talk up their products and boom. But they're not really talking about people like y'all, your tech founders that's doing stuff like this, or the people that I'm pretty sure is a lot of African Americans and minorities that just trying to get into this. but I feel like we're getting brainwashed. Like the only people that could take advantage of this is like the Jay-Z's and the Snoop Dogg, someone popular, or
You're
sports and
100.
stuff like that.
You're 100% right.
I saw artists because I don't want to blow up spots. I saw an artist that's he's like the black poster child of crypto for some odd reason. So I went in person to see him talk about crypto. This dude knew absolutely nothing. It was like, I was like, why did I waste my time coming here? But it was him and four other, let's just keep it real, white people in his company, and they did all the talking. And he would be first. Oh, I don't know. Refer to that. I don't know. I'm like, damn,
Then why are you
this is
here?
probably how it's all going down all the time, man. We're just getting bamboozled,
Yeah, I think that the media has always played on our desires to kind of look up to these people in these positions, and they place them there for a reason. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's important for us, and you mentioned this in the last podcast, and it's important for us to like really self-educate ourselves, and that's I think where we kind of miss the boat a little bit with learning about this particular community and how we can participate. It's not too late to get into cryptocurrency, put a little bit into it. But I think that, it's really interesting how the media impacts our decision making when it comes to this space and where we fit into it. We do need more real people who have a real understanding of what's going on and be able to break it down. That's why I really like your platform, to like break it down into simple terms so that you understand that this isn't something very complicated. It's not something you need a textbook for. It's something that you do need to be aware of. We do need to come into this century and understand that this is something that's going to impact our lives, whether we, want to believe it or not. And I don't know if I kind of sidebarred on that, but it really made me think about how the marketing has played a part in some hesitation or some interest, but then not the full move into it.
Yeah, I don't think people honestly understands why is this such groundbreaking technology. Did it see like, oh yeah, metaverse, I could just have game coins. I'm like, damn, no, it's bullshit to that. But yeah, and that hurts a lot more people than really it does, because a lot of people don't want to hear the so-called boring people that's telling you like, oh, this is why we could do this and this and boom, boom, boom. And it's hurtful when you try to educate people in whatever capacity or platform, and they always go towards that. Oh, let me go to the Snoop Dogg's new NFT or something like that. But Corey, I'm going to do something since I know you personally. I'm going to ask you something very hard for you to answer. I want you to think about if there was one crypto thing that Black people should think about really like looking into for the next 5 years. What is that one thing? Like you feel like had the most opportunities and thing. One.
Put me on the spot. No, it's all good. Um,
Because you for hold on, because a lot of times when I do research, they always like, oh, they always have that the 1 year, 5 year, 10 year projection. I always look at that because I'm like, I don't know. So I'm like, I want to hear from you. Like, what should people and everybody's this is personal opinion. Don't drop the bank and on whatever he says. But Corey, in your mind, what's the one thing African Americans, if they really want to, increase their wealth within this atmosphere, what should it be?
well, I'll say to really do research in regards to proof of stake currencies. And here's why. So when it comes to us in the stock market really only opened up to the average person, like really opened up in maybe in like the past 15 years, right?
Mhm.
With the advent of these online platforms where it just made it really easier for people to get into stocks. Before you need to get a broker and there's brokerage fees and blah 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 and all this other stuff. And for instance, like a platform like Robinhood, it just really opened the floodgates and it really lowered the bar of entry for everyone to get in. Now, one of the things that people do look for in regards to stocks is they look for stocks that issue dividends,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because the dividends, it's almost like an escape velocity of inflation. So yeah, you're subject to the you're subject to the swing of the stock, but
Mm-hmm.
then if you're holding it, the company's rewarding you for holding onto the stock. You're removing stock out of the pool, and so they're rewarding you for doing that. All right, and people like to get stocks that have dividends. In cryptocurrency, you have an analog. You have proof of stake currencies, and what proof of stake is, you have a stake in the network, and for having a stake in the network is rewarding you for removing currency out of circulation, which makes it more scarce, right? And one of the things that as a community we've never really benefited from these tips or tricks or aspects of you know of the stock market that contributed to a lot of people gaining wealth. Proof of stake currencies are going to be the new thing, or the thing that really solidifies people's wealth or position in the cryptocurrency industry, and they're relatively cheap, and they uh, they appreciate and value, and they reward the user for holding on to it, right? So if there's one thing that I would recommend people to get involved in or to do research on, is proof of stake currencies.
Proof of steak. And we're not talking about steak, the food.
No.
So don't put proof to steak and talking about well done, medium well, anything like that. So make sure you got the right term because we don't want to assume. But definitely, and that's going to take a lot of research. Please notice that he didn't say no particular name, no particular product, whatever. So and it changes. I feel like it changes every day, every month. So yes, so that's just one area that he think that you really should look into, but you're gonna notice real fast that there's a bunch of different options and all that stuff. So that's when you gotta do your own research, know who and who not to trust, know who's just trying to sell you a dream or who just got a check to endorse it. That's very important because someone that just got a check to endorse, they don't care whether or not the product is good. The check cleared and they already dropped that money. They party on that money. So they don't, you really don't want to listen to them. You want to listen to the people that, is independent and say, and talk about the pros and cons and stuff like that. Because I believe people, even though we always talk about how we behind and stuff like that, we still could make a great impact. There are millions of brilliant African Americans, people that's trying to break into this industry, that's doing great things. Like, yes, we don't see them; they're behind the scenes. Greenfire is one of the people, but they out there. They out there, and we as a people need to really look for them because it wouldn't take that much to find them because they're out there. Trust me, there's conferences, there's podcasts. You can find them, and we got to support them, and we got to not just listen to the Snoop Dogs or the Jay-Z's of the world. We got to listen to those people that we don't hear about but are out there, and we can make a great impact. We can do it for, and you got to just think about, it's just not for you, it's for your family. I got an 11-year-old, an 8-year-old, and 4-year-old, and if you don't hear them, they screaming behind the scenes. So I'm like, oh my God, I got to end this soon before they just break out the door. You got to think beyond yourself, because a lot of times when I speak to African Americans, they talk about their past and they hurt, and they just stop right there, like, no, this, they're gonna just do this, and this is why I'm not gonna do blah, blah, blah. They rarely talk about the future, the kids. Even if you don't have kids, you got nephews, you got neighbors, you got, so just don't think, oh, I'm kidless, I don't have to worry about the future. It affects us all. And there are people out there, and I feel like the community could definitely make it happen. And we have to really support companies like Greenfire when they come out. and they bust they product and their services, we have to support them, right, guys? What do you think?
Agree. Additionally, I was going to say, Jamaal, one thing too is that we can't be afraid to fail as well. Like, and Corey can touch on this as well because he's been in this industry longer than I. But I mean, there's a lot of anxiety around like, well, if I invest in it and I lose it, what then? We can't be afraid to fail and have to learn the market and understand where we can put our money. And as Corey said, some of these things are fairly cheap if you just can, miss out on a hair appointment 1 week or something like that. But really just, it doesn't have to be thousands of dollars.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be hundreds. It can be a couple of, 20s, 30s and start off small. But it's just not an industry that we can afford to miss out on.
And one thing you always learn for any success story, whether it's business, life, family, money, nobody got to anything great without a lot of failure. Like, yes, we only concentrate on when they make it big and also, but research anybody, and you're going to see a lot of failure. But you got to keep on going because that's the hardest part. And I could tell, I fail every day. I'm not gonna lie. But people see certain stuff like, oh, nah, Jamaal, you do a lot. Like, nah, I fail a lot more. But the thing that, and I preach this to my son, the thing that a lot of people don't see is that I get up the next day.
Right.
And I keep on going.
And you better for it. You know what I mean? You have to go through these hurdles. That's in life in general. But I just, want to stress with the community that, we cannot be afraid to fail. We cannot be afraid to lose once or twice because this is something that will be around for some time. And we can't afford, more importantly, to miss out.
Corey, you have any last words? And then you're gonna say more about how to people to find you.
I mean, Nicole really
she dropped the mic on us. Dang, Nicole.
Yeah, man.
I was supposed to drop the mic, not her.
Yeah.
You lose.
Dropping bars on us.
Oh yeah. So just to touch on a point, success always comes with a bit of failure, honestly. Everyone they look up, every overnight success has years of dragging through the mud, all sorts of nonsense they had to go through to get where they are and make that overnight success, quote unquote. For the community, definitely. This is something that we typically tend to be stragglers when it comes to new technology, new anything. And with something like this in the next 5 years, our financial landscape the world over is going to look very different. And we can't really keep our trust in the banks like that. Ask Wendy Williams, we need to be able to take more control over our value, over our wealth. And then of course, think about our children and our family and our neighbors, if you don't do it now, you're doing a disservice to the next generation.
More bars dropping. You know what? I think one day, since I'm trying to do content, I think I really want to do a workshop, a live workshop, whether it's remote, what a case. And then we just really hit on the topic of our culture and crypto. And it was just be straight, just real talk. Like, if you can't handle real talk, that'd be like the worst workshop to go to. And just do it like that. Cause I believe we need to hear it sometimes, whether or not it hurts us or not. But this episode definitely inspired me to finally have something. Cause I was gonna do one with this guy for the West Indies. I spoke to one guest and he's trying to promote crypto adoption in the West Indies, and that has some hurdles. if you have any West Indian family, I'm married to a Jamaican. If you marry any West Indian friends, family, classmates, it's gonna take a lot to convince them. But they making moves, and he's ready for the fight. So I was like, hey, let's do a workshop. I think we should just do a culture workshop, right, and just try to bring people together. But guys, thank you. Just tell people how to find your company. And we're gonna do a lot more. And I think anytime I talk to them guys, I think this is gonna be real talk with the founders of Greenfire Inc. and we're just gonna talk our talk. So let people know how to find y'all, guys.
Yep, we're at Greenfire, GREENFIRE.io. And once you go on our website, you can see what we're working on, and you can also register to receive emails from us, and keep posted on what we're launching and what we're getting ready to do this year. This is about to be our year, 2022. You heard it here first.
And listen, guys, she really did say .io, because when I first saw it, I'm like, they must have made a mistake. So I put .com, and I was like on some other site, like, oh my God, my eyes.
No,
but it's definitely .io, so they didn't make a mistake on that. And then I will have it in our descriptions and stuff like that, so we're good. So guys, thank you for taking the time, and
Thanks
we'll
for having
talk
us.
later. Hold on.